Hello and welcome. You're watching Oneindia News. My name is Pank Mishra and this is the Election Central. Remember, when the election dates were announced for the five states in across the country, we came live to you, telling you all the scenarios. And the first state to go to polls was Mizoram, and along with Mizoram were the 20 seats of Chhattisgarh. Now, cut to December 4th. We are here back with you. As of now, the scenario in Mizoram is concerned. We are with you to tell you the figures and look at it. Look at it. What a unexpected result. What we saw yesterday, a hat trick from the BJP. Today, MNF, a name which is synonymous to Mizoram, Mizo National Front, has been dislodged by none other than a ZPM. Many would say it was a new kid on the block. How come this happened that a new political entity like Tipramotha in Tripura, they also performed very well in the recently concluded elections in the December of 2022. And now, cut to December of 2023, we have another upset for MNF in the northeastern part of the country. ZPM is leading as of now on 26 seats in Mizoram. MNF, the ruling party of Zoramthanga, is leading only at 10, Congress on 1, BJP on 3. BJP has made its mark in Northeast, no doubt about it. Congress, which was hoping to ride on the anti-BJP sentiments, fueled by the fact what happened in the neighboring state of Mizoram, that is Manipur, the violence that erupted there. That was something that Congress was hoping to ride on, but it looks like the BJP once again has taken the wind out of the sails as far as the Congress is concerned. But hats off to ZPM, which has by all means created history. And for ZPM, definitely Zoramthanga was a tough challenge, stiff challenge. There were lots of issues also. We would be joined by guests who would be discussing that. What exactly was it that Mizoram needed? Why a sudden change in the governance? And November 7th was the time when the first assembly elections happened. The first state that was went to polls, that was Mizoram. And December 4th is today when the results are out, obviously. The elections were led by Mizo National Front in 2018, Zoramthanga as the chief minister, and Mizoram has actually 40 lakh voters. 4 million voters is what they decide. If you compare it to, say, Rajasthan, for that matter, where there are roughly 5.25 crore voters. I mean, this number looks very small, but politically, strategically, the state of Mizoram, very important with the proximity with Myanmar, with the proximity with Mizoram, which are border states. So obviously, it makes a lot more sense to have a very decisive government, not, I would say, something which would be presenting a scenario of an hung assembly. And Mizoram has chosen this time around. They have given the verdict to ZPM. And the news that is coming in, Mizoram Deputy CM Town has lost to a ZMP candidate in Tuichang seat. This is the upset for MNF again. Zoram People's Movement, ZPM, claims first victory in Tuichang, defeating incumbent Mizo National Front MLA. So these are some of the updates that are coming in as of now. And as far as the whole scenario of Mizoram is concerned, if you take a look at it, the issue of tribals, the issue of Christian, which are a minority in that state, but their rights, connectivity with the Northeast, that is something that the state has been demanding. Education, infrastructure. Basically, when talking about Northeast, you might feel that the issues are same for a person sitting in a metropolitan state or other part of the country, be it Central India, South India. But Northeast presents a very peculiar case here because, first of all, the distance at times between the center, which is Delhi, to Mizoram or Northeast often translates to the fact that the government has lost sight of northeastern state. But this government, BJP government, when I remember Prime Minister Modi 2014 came into power and he took oath, the very first minister who was assigned, who was the portfolio that was decided, was that of connectivity with Northeast, and an observer for Northeast was first of all appointed. So that was the kind of attention the BJP government chose to give to Northeast, and we have seen, barring what happened in Manipur and the stoic silence from the government side, as many opposition members have time and again spoken. It is important to note that as far as the connectivity with northeastern state, the development of infrastructure in the northeastern states is concerned, so that the students don't have to come out of the state to pursue higher education or job opportunities in other parts of the country. You would see, I mean, we are here in Delhi NCR region, and Delhi University is one among the many universities in the central and southern part of the country, where many northeastern students come and study higher studies. Also, they come here for job opportunities as well. But there has been an increasing trend also with specific and certain media outlets now finding their headquarters and operating from the Northeast itself, has in a way given more fillip to the voices asking for more support, asking for attention to the northeastern areas, and coupled with government's initiatives, I think it's a winds of change that is sweeping across all the northeastern states, and Mizoram being one of them. Very interesting, factors to note here, that MNF still managing to get just 10 seats, ZPM leading at 26, which is now writing on the wall. We can call it now, because it's already 3.5 or 4 hours of counting. 40 seats went to polls. Doesn't take much time when the EVMs are being used, and so is the case in Mizoram also. So halfway mark was 21. ZPM is well past that. Comfortable majority there. Congress 1 seat and BJP 3. MNF, Mizo National Front, Zoramthanga, a man who needs no introduction. He has been a rock solid guy when it comes to the affairs of the state. Remember when the Manipur incident was at its peak, and N. Biren Singh, the chief minister, was not able to stop the Cooki movement, migration from Manipur to Mizoram, and Cooki sentiments obviously found refuge also in Mizoram. So Zoramthanga wrote a letter, and he said that N. Biren Singh should rather be taking charge, and he should not indulge. It was what Zoramthanga put in that letter, not indulge in any sort of divisive or threatening stance, which he claimed that the reason it was behind the migration of the Cooki migrants from Manipur to Mizoram. Mizoram has also been accepting a lot of migrants from Myanmar as well. And this cross-border movement of people has not been an easy affair, but Zoramthanga was open enough to accept them, to give them refuge, wait for the fires and embers to die down in Manipur, and then possibly if they want to go back, they could go back. So this also was one of the key election issues in Mizoram when it comes to whether people were happy with the influx of migrants from Myanmar or not. We have had incidents in the past as well where people from all the way from Myanmar had crossed into India because of the social civil unrest there, and now with the advent of ZPM, it remains to be seen whether it is going to continue with the same helping approach as Zoramthanga did, or would there be a change in the stance? Very interesting aspect of Mizoram elections. Aizawl, again, ZPM, it has done well, being ahead of MNF. A lot of critical issues also, if you talk about how the state has seen and weighed in these elections. So Zoramthanga, he was trailing when the last reports came in, and we'll just give you the numbers as of now. Dr. Van Lathalan, ZPM candidate from Aizawl North 2, he is saying that people have shown their mandate. They have talked to the people again and again and shouted that Mizoram needs a change. Vanalathanla, ZPM candidate from Aizawl North 2. Very soon we'll be bringing you his soundbite also. News agency ANI has provided that. Also, in the days and months to come for Mizoram, as we head towards the 2024 elections, the whole focus on Northeast, how does the state respond to this wave of the BJP? We saw in the three states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh how the BJP made a hat trick. Prime Minister Modi yesterday speaking at the BJP headquarters, addressing the BJP cadre, said that this is not just the hat trick in these assembly elections, but also it's an indication of a hat trick for 2024. How significant it is for 2020 for the Northeast, we would be very soon discussing it with a panel of guests who would be joining us momentarily. The latest that we are hearing from Mizoram is that ZPM's CM candidate, Laldu Homa, he has been the front runner. Laldu Homa was a vocal critique of Zoramthanga and his policies, and he fought on the very Zoram people movement. Again, if you would look at the northeastern regions, be it Tripura, where the demand of a separate Tripura land has been going on for a long time. Tipramotha is the party which was the proponent for it. Likewise, ZPM's Zoram People's Movement, the presidential candidate, Laldu Homa, a former IPS officer, first MP to be disqualified under anti-defection law. He accused MNF of attempting to monopolize the Zo unification issue, and all political parties and Jewish church and other organizations are equally concerned about the displaced cookies, and that all of us, this is what Laldu Homa said, all of us seek a singular administration which is permissible under the Article 3 of the Constitution. Very interesting insights, and needless to say, we have to wait and watch how does the penultimate the elections of Lok Sabha elections transpire. All right, we are joined by Hriyata Shangte, advocate and social activist. Thank you so much, Mr. Shangte, for speaking to us. I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly, Hriyata Shangte.
That is good enough, fair enough.
Fair enough. Needless to say, before we start, Mr. Shangte, Hriyata, it makes a very distinct sound. What does it mean, Hriyata? Something related?
Hriyata basically is the one who is remembered by God. The one who is remembered by God. Shangte is my surname. Yes. So since I've been in the mainland India for almost 30 years, my non-Mizo friends, find it difficult to pronounce Hriyata. So they might sometimes call me Harita. So it hardly matters. Good morning, and thank you for having me, Mr. Rohit.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. My name is Pank Mishra, and Mr. Shangte, looking at a new sun rising in the east, ZPM, was that expected? Did Zoramthanga see it coming?
It was largely expected by the common people, but Zoramthanga and his party, the ruling MNF, since they are in the position power for only one term, in Mizoram there has been a rather funny, interesting of the fact that every party who rules the state will rule for 2 terms. Congress 2 terms, MNF 2 terms. But then our MNF friends were reluctant to give up this time. They said that this is only our first time, so there will not be change. But then the way I see the results here, a landslide victory for ZPM. Zoram People's Movement, I
Yes.
think it is the expectation of the people to make a change, So we
Mhm.
are for the change only. So I think this is a good and very healthy, progressive attitude of the Mizo
Yes.
voters here. I think we have to accept that.
Okay. Also, Mr. Shante, when talking about the key issues that
Mhm.
Mizoram went to polls with, in your opinion, what was it that changed the tide into favor of ZPM than other?
Uh, it is mainly because of the fact that the present ruling party MNF, there
Hmm.
is too much of nepotism and corruption in the government.
Okay.
So I think Mizos being, we are very educated, only a population of 12 lakh. We know
Hmm.
each and every, tricks of the government here. Okay.
Hmm.
So by allotting the government contracts and also there have been a lot of nepotism and people are getting fed up with this. So they
Right.
said that since ZPM is a new political party established only in the year 2019, so
Hmm.
Mizo people gracefully, openly have accepted that okay, let's give these guys a few chance. So
Futures.
let's see. I think we are going that in that line only.
Well, a very informed electorate, I must say, as far as Mizoram is concerned, with the literacy rate also, better than average what we see in other parts of the country. For a border state like Mizoram, Manipur
Yeah.
is also in your neighborhood. How important it is to have your house in order and and a decisive government also, maybe with full majority as ZPM has come into power.
Well, as far as the problems that has been happening around the state of say Mizoram bordering Manipur problem, then Myanmar problem, then
Yes.
Bangladesh problem. I think in this respect, the present government, which is basically the government of the airswell underground people, the MNF people are the one who had fought for independent Mizoram sometime in 1966 to 86. So
Hmm.
this aspect, our chief minister is doing quite well. But
Hmm.
then I think the main trust here, the main expectation of the people is a cleaner state government administration.
Right.
So I think it has not much to do with the neighboring state, I understand.
Okay. Okay. Which is, I would say, a relief to hear because at least,
Yeah,
you know, those are not the issues that the state government is bothered with.
exactly, exactly.
But the issues that you mentioned, Mr. Shante, are very common, very synonymous with the rest of part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And be it nepotism that you mentioned, what you call parivar wad, which Congress
Parivar.
is facing.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you're talking about corruption, you're talking about awarding government contracts. These things, once again, there are two states that saw governance change. One was Telangana, which is a
Yeah.
very progressive state. You talk about Hyderabad, you talk about the farmers' issues. KCR tried all he could do, but he was also bogged down by corruption charges. Secondly, Chhattisgarh. Bhupesh Baghel, no one had expected that he would also lose, but then the things changed. How important, in your opinion, is it for the leaders, the political leaders, the ruling class? It is important to understand the pulse of the people. You say that Mizoram gives 2 terms, and I think 2 terms is what Telangana also gave KCR. But again, he couldn't hit a hat trick.
Well, I see. I have been traveling quite a lot during the election time. In
Uh-huh.
fact, I'm from the Congress Party, which is
Uh-huh.
doing very badly today.
I
And
know.
in fact, I had contested an MP as an independent candidate in 2019. I mean, ex candidate of the MP. So
From
during
Mizoram.
yeah, from Mizoram.
Ah, lovely.
so
Huh?
so this time around, what happened is that as a Congress star campaigner, I've been
Hmm.
traveling in almost 13 to 14 constituency of 40 constituencies. And I
Okay.
find that the Mizo voters are quite smart, quite literate, and I think they are not being bluffed by
Hmm.
the propaganda or the high sounding, manifestos. They have their own choices clear well
Hmm.
before the election. Say by when we have about 6 months, I
Hmm.
believe that the voters have already they decided to change the government. So
Hmm.
I think in Mizoram, like in other progressive states,
Hmm.
what is the most important for any particular state government is to deliver the goods. They have to perform, right? So our young generation, let's say I can see from the statistics that 18 to 35 years old, the new generation voters and the first time voters, they are
Uh-huh.
about 52%, of the total electorate. So
Voter, yes.
these guys, they are well aware of what is going on in other part of India. So
Hmm.
they are fed up with, the toll claim, in the political platforms and all. So they don't believe that. So they simply give that, okay, we have Congress, who were
Hmm.
there, ruled for about 5 terms, the
Hmm.
MNF for 3 terms. So
Uh-huh.
basically, this is a wave, that is covering the whole of Mizoram for a
Hmm.
change. People are not very sure whether ZPM will be able to perform better than Congress or MNF, but
Okay.
people think that, okay, let's give a chance to ZPM, and if
Hmm.
it's not good, then we'll throw them out again. So the Mizo voters think quite, smartly. I don't
Hmm.
think we are too much influenced by the political gimmicks of our leaders.
Promises and
Yeah,
guarantees.
yeah, yeah. We are not being swept away by that.
It is a good thing. And you know what? What I was swept away off my feet is the fact that I spent roughly a week's time or a little bit more in Rajasthan.
Okay.
And the people whom I met, they were saying कि देखिए जी 50-50 चांस है 49-51 चांस है कांग्रेस भी आ सकती है बीजेपी आएगी तो थोड़े मार्जिन से आएगी with Rajasthan producing alternate government for the last 30 years. Now, the verdict that has come with the kind of majority BJP has got, it has actually changed the dynamics also. So when it comes to the people, I mean, they are very smart. And someone told me also, कि Pankaj,
Yeah.
don't trust them, or not in a bad manner, but remember, they are very smart voters, and they won't allow a government to, people to be dependent on the government. They want the
That's
government
right.
to be dependent on them, and
Exactly.
that's what you are mentioning as far
That's
as
what.
the.
See,
Uh,
what happened is that now
hmm.
it's difficult to know who is bluffing. The leaders are bluffing the voters, or the voters are bluffing the leaders.
I think the other way around is good, sir. So long as the
Yes,
hold the key,
right.
so it keeps the leaders also in check and performance is.
Exactly, exactly. I'm in a way very happy as
Hmm.
a progressive politician here that
Yes.
at least people are not purchased, votes are not being purchased,
Uh-huh.
and votes decision is taken by the voters in their own way, in their own terms of understanding.
Right. A lot of differences. We talked about similarities, be it the issues, but a lot of differences also are there, Mr. Shante.
Yeah,
And forgive me for my little knowledge about the northeastern matters, but
no issue, no issue.
when we saw what happened in Manipur, that was the time when even the remotest part of the country took
Mm-hmm.
note of the kind of issues that are there, be it the tribal issue, the identity issue, the Cooki Methi issue. In this whole scenario, sir, in
Mm-hmm.
your opinion, since you are also a public figure, you go to public contesting as independent
Yeah.
candidate as well, and you are a social activist also. So your understanding of the social fabric of the northeastern states, how is it different from the central and other parts of the country? And secondly, what is expected of the center? Is there something that the youth wants there that, hey, look, Modi government or the central government should do for us?
See, let me just tell you the fact that I am a mining engineer by profession.
Wow,
Now I am also a practicing lawyer here. So a
lovely, sir.
politician,
You have
I'm so many things, okay? I'm so many
good.
things.
Must,
So
must.
what I wanted to tell you is that by
Hmm.
nature, the tribal people of Northeast have a very deep sense of alienation from the central India, mainly because difference in culture, and
Hmm.
also not being able to communicate in Hindi. We're not feeling at home there. But then at the same time, as you can understand that we are Mizos are all Christians. Okay.
Yes,
We are
yes, yes.
all tribals. So
Hmm.
we are what I would call it a minority in a minority. Okay. So
Yes.
you can imagine that there are only 17 people of Mizo in 10,000 Indians. Okay. That means our percentage of population vis-a-vis the national is 0.018. That means for every 10,000 of Indians, there you'll find 17 or 18 Mizos only. So they at the same time, we Mizoram has got an history of the fact that we feel that we are forced Indians, forcibly occupied by the British and then thereafter by the Indians. So that present MNF, we were fighting for the, independent Mizoram, Republic of Mizoram. But then it was for 20 years, 66 to 66 se leke 86 tak.
86,
Then we found that it was not feasible, right? So now the Mizo tribals, Mizo Christian tribals have become very much Indianized. Very, very much Indianized. So you cannot really compare Mizoram and Manipur because in Mizoram we are very homogeneous. Manipur, they have something like 30 plus tribes, and those tribes are having underground outfits. So this underground outfit terrorism atmosphere is the atmosphere which we have left long time back, almost 35 to 40 years back. So Mizos, in a way, we think in a very different way. जैसा बोलता है ना गुजराती में फायदू छे मतलब फायदा होगा तो करेगा नहीं तो नहीं करेगा ठीक है ना तो मेरा आइडिया क्या है मिजोरम पॉलिटिक्स इज क्वाइट डिफरेंट ओके नाउ
I'm totally in agreement with you. Please go ahead.
Now what I wanted to impress upon you, I would like to take this advantage, that the advantage that you're having me here. And once again, thank you for that also. Huge thank you to you. Yes. See, Mizoram election was supposed to be also counted yesterday.
I know.
So, yeah, so the NGO, the churches, they have approached the Election Commission of India. It was very difficult. ECI was not, ready to change the date. But then since there was pressure mounting and Sunday being, they earmarked for church activities.
Yes.
So they have postponed it by one day. Then we become so happy. Please through your channel, I want to thank the ECI also. Right. So Mizo people are very much satisfied today. So I think this election, let's see, it is a state election. So I mean, like this is an anti-incumbency against the MNF, the Congress, the all parties, and also to the desire to introduce a new party in Mizoram. Now, if you go to the national politics, Mizo people, I hope, will think in a different way. Okay, so the central government needs to understand that we are tribals by status, legal status, and we are also minority community for Christians, and we want to survive as Mizo Christian Indians. Okay. In Mizoram, what happened is that in your state, I don't know where you're from, say Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, it is India first, okay? India first, then Gujarati second. But in Mizoram, it's Mizo first, and then Indian, okay?
I wanted to understand from you, sir. You are exactly the right person, to make our viewers understand that how important it is to understand our brothers and sisters and our own countrymen. From the northeastern state. I mean, many a times jokingly people would say कि अच्छा चलो बाहर कहीं नहीं जा रहे हो घूमने तो north east घूमने चले जाओ. Other than that, no one says कि I am sending my kid to Dispur University or Assam or for that matter, Arunachal. There are some strategic issues also, but there is a movie, sir. Sorry, I might be promoting that movie, which is called Sam Bahadur. I happened to see it's basically a biopic on the first Field Marshal of India, Shaw. That movie mentions MNF once. It is about during his 1971 war and how the history remembers, Northeast. And his line, he says कि नई दिल्ली असम से इतनी दूर है कि लोग प्रधानमंत्री जैसे भूल गए हों असम को. So this feeling, made me feel that's why I asked you what are the sentiments of the people and center's focus. Do you think that 2014 when Prime Minister Modi assumed power, the look east policy or the eastern states, did they get something extra or has it been the same irrespective?
Well, BJP as such, in terms of changing from look east policy to act east policy, the central government under Modi, they have been doing a very good job. But at the same time, we are not mentally or emotionally convinced till today that this is for Mizos or say for Manipur. We think in terms that this is for the defense, different strategic activities approach. So
Mm-hmm.
then, in any case, Mizoram and other small tribal states are very small. So we are fully dependent on the central government for any developmental activities. So
Right.
I think the way you have just said, that the film,
Huh.
I will tell you one film, that has come now.
Yes.
I'll just tell you is Isikiapa love. It's about a Punjabi boy, falling in love with a Mizo girl. Okay, it has
Uh-huh.
been released on the first 3 days back only, first December. So I
Okay.
was very happy because I'll tell you, I've been in the central India. I was in Gujarat, I was in
Hmm.
Bangalore, I was in Calcutta, Bhubaneswar, and all. So I fully understand. Now
Mm-hmm.
with the kind of such promotional films, I
It is.
think the Mizos and the tribals in general from the northeast will be slowly integrated to the mainland India. And in this Isikiapa, a Punjabi boy and a Mizo girl, interracial marriage, there was the problem they faced. And ultimately, I find that the young Mizo people like the movie very much.
Right, right. It is
So
a
I,
very,
so I
very
think I think you should do more, more about that.
Ishipa, you said. The
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a new movie.
Okay, I will definitely, take a look at
Please
it
see, please see.
also.
Yeah.
Definitely. And, Bollywood, you're right. If you have to bring or make one of your states feel that, yes, the whole country stands with you, what
Yes.
happens with Kashmir? It
Yes.
always makes headline if a new cinema theater opens in Kashmir. It always makes new headline if Shah Rukh Khan or Bollywood goes and shoots in Jammu and Kashmir because of the importance and beauty also. Likewise, Northeast, you are right. I mean, it's a point, well taken that the government should focus on that regard also. I mean, Prime Minister Modi, you would know, very recently said that why are people going and getting married abroad? Why don't you host your marriage functions here? I think Northeast can present a very
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
speaking through just the experience. So now, Mr. Shankte,
Yeah.
uh, as far as when you began, you said you have been in the mainland India. So that was something that stayed in my mind, and that's why when you explained that what are the sentiments, how people feel there, first being Mizo and then being Indian, which I think the government has to walk that extra mile to
Exactly, exactly.
because you can't take away the identity from them. I wanted to know from you, Mr. Shankti, what
Yeah.
happened in Manipur. Mr. Zoramthanga was very critical of that. He wrote a letter to CM Biren Singh also, and there have been issues both with Manipur and Mizoram of the incoming people, migrants from Myanmar. How do you think these sentiments play out when migrants come in and when migrants come from another state? Because a lot of people went from Manipur to Mizoram to seek shelter. How did that play out?
See, you're talking about the impact of such things in this
In
present election.
elections or in society in general, how people.
Well, as you can imagine that there are Changte. Okay, I'm Mr. Changte.
Mhm.
There are Changte in Manipur, Changtes in Myanmar, Changtes in Bangladesh.
Uh-huh.
So Manipuri brothers and sisters, they are Indians first of all. So they
Right.
can go to any Indian territory, settle down there. But when
Mhm.
it comes to our Myanmaris, brothers and sisters,
Mhm.
technically they are foreigners.
Yes, yes,
So when they come inside Mizoram, that is India, in Indian of India, they
yes.
have to follow, certain norms.
Mhm.
So technically they are foreigners, they are unwanted guests. So
Mhm.
we have to push them back. But
Mhm.
Zoramthanga being, a rebel leader, himself was, most of the time in Bangladesh and Myanmar only
Okay.
during the fight.
Yes, yes.
So he certainly has an emotional attachment with those brothers and sisters.
He was quite
He was
receptive.
he was he was moving around here and there, being protected by our very own brothers and sisters in Bangladesh and Myanmar. So he feels that he is obliged, to take care of them. But
Mhm.
these things, I'll tell you that the Indian government has understood. In the beginning, they have, tried to convince the state government that these people should be pushed back since they are not political refugees. They are only people who have just crossed the international boundary, just like that. But
Uh-huh.
Zoramthanga cannot push back my brother and sisters.
Yes.
Okay. So somehow they have been retained here in a way they have been affecting the social fabrics.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he also did not push back the Cooki community that were moving from Manipur to Mizoram. Am I?
Frankly,
Uh-huh.
frankly speaking, I'll tell you. See, I'm very outspoken guy. Okay, frankly,
This is the platform to
this is
speak.
the fact that cookies, zomies, those peoples are we call them Mizos. Though
Okay.
some of them don't call themselves Mizos, they call themselves zomies or say cookies. But we treat them as our own Mizos. So from our side, we open armly, welcome them to our places. But
Okay.
in Manipur is is a situation in which even the cookies and the zomis are fighting each other.
Yes, they are. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So as a Mizo, our idea is to
hmm,
make them understand each other, make them feel that they are Mizos. I'm a Lusei guy in Mizo.
hmm, hmm, hmm. Absolutely. No, no, you're right. When it comes to the affairs in Manipur,
Yeah.
they have been quite eye-opener as far as the latest developments are concerned. But having said that, Mr. Shankti, I would love to, have you for another five,
Yeah,
10 minutes
please.
if you can spare time, because we are also joined by
My
Mr.
signal.
It's okay. It will get okay in a short while. Sanjoy Hazarika ji, a journalist and author and Northeast expert, joins us on the broadcast. Mr. Hazarika, thank you so much for taking time out and speaking to us on a day when, as I began by saying, a new sun has risen in the east, ZPM, on Mizoram's horizon. How do you see it, the new government there?
I think the wind was blowing pretty clearly when I was there a few months, some weeks ago. I was there for two weeks in October,
Uh-huh.
and it was quite visible that I think younger people
Hmm.
were definitely in favor of new faces, new changes,
Uh-huh.
new party, new leadership. Because see, Mizoram, you've had three chief ministers in 36 years, 37 years. So there is a need for a change, and the people who are 37 today have no recollection of the Mizoram Accord or the very young when Lal Denga
MNF as a
came. Yeah, yeah, and all that. Everything comes from there. And people talk about regionalism and regional parties in places like Mizoram and Nagaland. I'd say that they are national parties with a regional outlook, not regional parties with a national outlook. And the so-called national parties have become small and regional.
Hmm.
that's, that's the very interesting part of the whole story now.
No, I think it's not just on the political side. If you talk about the media also, and which is a good thing. I'm not saying that going smaller to bigger is the only option. At times, uh, condensing yourself is also important. Media houses initially they were run mostly from Delhi or Mumbai. You would hear the or not hear the news of Northeast from Delhi only because it was dependent on the channels here or the publication here whether they would send someone there or not. But now a lot of youngsters. I mean, for this broadcast also we and since the first election happened November 7th. I mean, we had one journalist who works for All India Radio also. Works for other publications and broadcast houses, and they are happily staying there after having worked 15 years in Delhi. They chose to go back. So they became a regional from national, which is a good thing. So, Mr. Hazarika,
They actually invested in their homeland. I think that's a very important thing.
not
Correct.
not everyone does. I mean, Mr. Shankti, you were mentioning, which state I come from. I come from a state of, as I say, milk and rice and potato, Bihar. And I have not been able to, frankly speaking, and many of people like me or the youth who came here for higher studies and then chose to stay here, um, call it the stroke of fate or maybe lack of opportunity. We never were able to go back and invest in the state. But this is a very good phenomena that is happening. In that regard, Mr. Hazarika, I wanted to know from you what is it that Mizoram in particular and Northeast in general needs from the center so that they don't feel alienated.
I don't think the question of alienation is much of an issue now. the past, I think the Mizos are a wonderful example of how they have made peace with the past, and how they've accepted the idea of India and really embraced it almost more than many other groups and communities and states of the region. So I think a continuance of support from the center for in basic infrastructure, because in Mizoram you have this strange dichotomy, this contradiction, where you have a population with the highest, second highest literacy education rates in the country,
Absolutely.
but you also have a great deal of poverty, especially in the rural areas. So one thing doesn't get translated into greater affluence. Let's leave aside the towns and cities like Aizawl. Aizawl has one third of the state's population, or even more. And it's terrible in terms of infrastructure. It's grown straight up because on the hills, if there's an earthquake, there'll be a disaster. But anyway, leaving that aside, infrastructure has been a great challenge in terms of building roads that are sustainable. Forget about rail loads, that those railways are also, one railway line is also coming from the Silchar side. But the important thing is that unless you have internal connectivity, you can't have external connectivity.
Right. Right.
You can talk about Act's policy, but if you don't have the roads within the country, you can't even get farm produce from the farms to the towns, and people
Right.
have to hire, walk distances, hire vehicles, and get there. These things need a lot of attention. So this has been and this is, I think, one of the factors why the ZPM got such a huge support also in rural areas, because they've been consistent in one thing about buying from the farmers, and their programs and their candidates have been public knowledge for months now. They didn't pick the candidates at the last minute. They've been there for about 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
So that's been substantial.
So, Mr. Shante, as
Yes.
Mr. Hazarika says, connecting with the grassroots is what got ZPM these number of seats, and they are very well on the way to make the next government there. Did MNF lose sight of these things? Because MNF would always claim that they fought for, the Mizo land. They fought for the cause. They have been there for the longest time. And as Mr. Hazarika says, this generation, 30 years down the line, the voters won't know them, even if someone is 20 years. So do you think that ZPM, Zoram People Movement, what is it? What did they do differently to get the, the belief and the faith of the people and get it back from MNF?
See, before answering you, let me just go to Sanjayda. Sanjayda, I don't know if you remember me.
Hello, Puchate.
Sanjayda, I've been talking to you live also. Last time we met in Guwahati Airport.
Yeah.
With that Manipur MP Kim Gangte.
Kim, yes.
So he has nicely put it, but I want to add to that, Indianization of the tribal people in Northeast. Mizos, like many ample times have been asked why Mizos are no more interested in terrorism. I said Mizos are very progressive. जैसा हम बोला था ना गुजराती में फायदू छे फायदा होगा तो करेगा नहीं तो नहीं करेगा है ना that is driving us very strongly. And the most important thing I feel for central government is that we as Mizos, we are Christians and tribals, so the sentiments have to be taken care of. Now when we talk about CAA, say Uniform Civil Code and all, so we need an assurance from the central government. No, look, you be an Indian as a Mizo Christian tribals. So if they, if there is an understanding, or say the fact that the central government is taking care of us, I think Mizo Indianization will, boom like anything. So I think we can make a lot of contributions. Like Sanjay knows Mizoram quite well. I'm happy to be a part with you today in the interview, Sanjay. So that is one thing. And then the fact that YZPM is doing very well now. It is not that ZPM have got the best candidates. The candidates we have in Congress are very good. But the problem here is that in Mizoram, we have seen, जैसा संजय दा बोलता है, we have seen in the last 35 years or so two chief ministers. Lalthanhola 5 times chief minister, Zoramthanga 3 times chief minister. And the new generation, the young voters, they don't see or they haven't heard. They haven't been, convinced of the fact that these two political leaders are not serious. They are not serious enough to give opportunities for employment and all. So they are desperate. So the only way they can see is that let's try somebody who is not MNF, non-MNF, non-Congress. So that is the only way, that is the only wave, that I feel is going on. Now, I am also very vocal, I'm very vocal against their chief ministerial candidate, Pulal Duoma. But then the people, decided that, okay, let us have a new chief minister. So we'll have Mizos are in a way very, like I say, polite, very accommodating. Okay. So the main reasons, if you ask any ZPM MLA who's got elected today, he cannot say I'm the best candidate in that constituency. No. The flow of the people, the mindset of the people is that let's try a new thing. We have seen Congress for many times. We have seen MNF, they're not doing good. If this guy is doing good, better, let's give a chance. I think that's the only wave that is coming in this election.
Internally, the state government's role should be to, spread the development and economic emancipation across the state. If the rural Mizoram is not thriving, and urban Mizoram, you have cafes and theaters coming up in Aizawl, it's the imbalance. But from the central part of the country, from the government at the center, do you believe that Act East also needs a further step so that the countries and other states are connected and people start going there? Not only Mizo people enjoy the coffee in Aizawl Cafe, but also a person from India or Gujarat, from Delhi or Gujarat goes there. So can that be a possibility?
See, that is very much possible. Then one thing I want to impress upon you and also to all concerned is that development is one thing. But Mizo, see the way we have been protesting to, defer the date of counting from yesterday to today. It's not because of anything else, but as a tribal, as a Christian, we are apprehensive of the fact that the BJP government in Delhi is only interested in the development, not in the tribal culture and then the protection of the religion. I'll tell you a very simple fact is that in Mizoram, BJP abhi tak nahi chalta hai. नहीं चलता है because
बेहतर कर गई है इस बार.
Yes, so better कर दिया. So because of the fact that this central government, whosoever, Congress or BJP, they need to have the development with a human face. Okay,
with the
development with a human face. Say, for example, when people talk about uniform civil code, I am one of the most enlightened Mizo tribal. I've been in Ministry of Mines. I work in ONGC. I've been places, and in fact, I am a graduate mining engineer from here, Bihar. ISM Dhanbad.
My elder brother is from mining and machinery. ISM.
Okay. So at the same time, I've been a product of that 20 years of independence, Mizoram independent. So there were times when we measured the level of Mizoness in terms of the level of you're hating the Indian or the Hindus. Now that scenario has changed. Like Sanjay Da has said, Mizos are not very enthusiastic about any uprising anymore. But at the same time, we have to remember, like we have in the Constitution, Article 371G, which says that the tribal culture, tribal traditions will be protected, and no central government act will be, implemented until and unless it is adopted by the state government of Mizoram.
Right.
Now, there is a feeling now that with Modi coming, with the central government, BJP backed by RSS, their main idea is Hindutva. So there might be an economic development, but if our tribe, if a community, if a faith is in danger, okay. So the central government has to deal very tediously, tenderly about culture, tribal sentiments. If it is like that, I think Mizos really have no problem with any particular, party coming to power in New Delhi. Okay, that is one thing. Another thing, as I want to say is tell you is that Mizos, in a way, we have a culture deeply rooted, in a concept what we call Tomaina, that is selfless service to others. Okay, now when we think about Mizoram getting developed, Sanjay Da will be knowing carefully better. Delhi, Bangalore, even Guwahati. The rich are very rich. The poor are very poor. Here in Mizoram, we are equally poor, equally rich.
Okay.
Once my chief controller of mines came to Aizawl visit for a meeting, he was surprised to see that Mr. Changte, you tribals are very well developed. I've been taking him, in different houses of my relatives.
Right.
These people are rich. They have furnitures, imported furnitures from Malaysia and all. The decoration, the design is very good. And these are tribals who are not paying income tax, right? Okay. Just asking.
Yeah. You would know whether they contribute, huh?
They are richer. They're richer than me, chief controller of mines. But you say that you are not paying income tax. I think you should start paying income tax. You know what he's telling. We don't mind. But the thing is that what is most important in our mind is that our tribal culture and the faith. Okay. If these are, given a protection, like we call clear cut, indication by the central government that don't worry, guys, we will take care about you. But please be a good Indian. I think we can be one of the best Indians, one of the most progressive Indians.
Well, as Riyata, as you told us in the beginning, God's love, we also love you. So, in your opinion, sir, final word, Mizoram, if there is one message that you want through your experience to give to the Mizo people as of now with the change of guard at this state, what would it be, sir?
We see, on my personal behalf and on behalf of the other people here also, I want to congratulate the ZPM people, and I hope that as per the expectations of the voters, they should be able to perform much, much better than the Congress and MNF. And in the process, even the parties like us, Congress, MNF, I think we will not be shy off in helping them around. And then at the same time, they should also remember that we are there to, cross-check these people, poke our noses wherever is there, because we all love Mizoram, we all love Mizo society. Okay, that's one thing. And at the same time, through your channel, what I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity is that Mizos, by far, we are very, progressive, peace-loving, and we have already given up fighting against India since 1986. So we are very much Indian now. But at the same time, through a channel, what I wanted to you to convey the message is that whoever is in Delhi should also take care us as one of the beautiful flowers in the the big garden of India. Okay.
Absolutely.
So we want to be, please don't mind, because we are a minority in a minority. So we want to survive as Mizo Indians. Don't impose that it should be Indian first and then Mizos, because for us survival is very important. Okay, as you have all rightly said that we are in a very disturbed neighboringhood, Manipur, Bangladesh, Myanmar. So I think in everything they do, if the government of India shows some kind of respect for the people, the 12 lakh population of Mizos, which is even not even half of the population of Guwahati city, right?
Right.
So what I wanted to impress upon you and the people concerned is that we are good people. We'll do very good. We have already decided to become Indians in the year 1986, June 30. So we are doing okay. If Mizoram is not developed, India cannot develop as well. So the development of India, India signing has to penetrate to Mizoram by way of activist policy. Whatever development, BJP, I think everybody likes here in terms of development. But in terms of culture, faith, we are apprehensive of BJP. So I think we have to, if you take care of this, our discussion will be very fruitful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sanjay Da. Thank you, Mr. Changte, for speaking to us. And
I think Sanjay Da wants to say something more.
Just one line.
Yes,
that I think partly to address what Pu Changte has said, I think the Election Commission's decision to defer the counting from a Sunday at the request of various civil society groups, including the church, to a Monday is a significant step
Exactly.
in recognizing both the difference as well as the need to be sensitive to those differences, because otherwise they can play out into other problems. So it was a good step of recognizing that.
Just one sentence, please. Again,
Yes,
when
please.
Sanjay Das said about that, the postponement of that.
You
See,
also mentioned it.
for ECI, there was no problem in postponement, but we found that they were too much reluctant. They were taking us too lightly. They were taking us, the sentiments, religious sentiment, tribal sentiments too lightly. But good sense prevailed upon ECI, and I think this kind of gesture will help Mizo people, integrate into Indian mainstream much faster. So I think ECI, I've written a letter to the Chief Election Commissioner also last night,
Okay.
thanking him that this is the right step, very healthy, progressive step. So I think if other central government agencies, take care, in this line of ECI, I think we can have a very good India in the state of Mizoram.
Right. See, I mean, I finished this show being informed. I find myself more informed 1 hour before the show, and now thanks to both of you gentlemen.
Thank you,
And
sir.
Sanjay Dada, my apologies. The video frame that I received from your end on my monitor here has had a little bit of delay. That's why when you were pointing, I could not see that you were raising a finger. But thank you, Shankar Dada, for
Thank you so
pointing
much.
out. And it was lovely. Another one thing, before we make a joint trip to Dhanbad to
Yeah,
ISM,
yeah,
we must, because see, it's easier said than done. We say that government ये नहीं करते, government वो नहीं करती, लेकिन media को भी चाहिए कि you go there, you don't sit here in air-conditioned studios, go and see the people for themselves, see
exactly.
what is the beauty there. So from One India side, I mean, it would be on my plan list A that we do a show from Aizawl with people with one of the
Exactly.
cafes by
You,
Sanjay Dada.
you are mostly welcome. You keep in touch with me. I'll make some arrangement for you.
And we should rather keep focusing on Northeast also.
Exactly.
From our end, that we keep interacting at least once a week on the issues of Northeast.
Yeah,
Aizawl is not too far from Delhi now. It's very near now.
if you come, you'll get to breathe fresh air instead of sitting in an air-conditioned studio. You can do it out. Like I'm in Shillong, it's 50 to 60 AQI. Blue skies, great, lovely sun, winter sun. It's wonderful, and Aizawl is also good.
I think you have put the icing on the cake, Bhupendra.
It's a question of survival. You need to breathe clean air, otherwise you'll go into shock if you come with clean air.
I must definitely. Thank you so much. And with this, that we will get back again, sir.
Thank you so much.